Thank you, Member. Member from Burnaby North.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And thank you to the previous speakers for their insightful contributions to this very important debate. You know, I'm reminded of an old ad that urged us on, "You've come a long way, baby." But, you know, we're not there yet. And in fact, recent poignant statements in this House make me wonder if we may even have regressed. Goodwill, good intentions alone will not achieve gender equity. And as the previous speaker said, there are practices and policies embedded in the system that continue to disadvantage women. Systemic discrimination happens when men and women are treated the same, but the results give men the advantage anyway. Now, that seems counterintuitive. So let me share an analogy that clarified it for me. A man and a woman are in a car race for the good job. The man is driving a high-performance sports car. His road is straight. The road signs are clear and point him in the right direction. There's no speed limit, and the cheering crowds are urging him on. The woman, on the other hand, is driving a station wagon. Maybe the tires are bald. Her road ahead is full of potholes, there are sharp curves, steep hills, and there are no road signs. Her cheering crowd may be the kids in the back seat. And her starting line is half a mile further back. It's even further back if she's racialized or has a disability. Now, we can move the woman up to the same starting line as the man to make the race fair, but until we straighten out her road, fill in the potholes, and put her in a sports car, the man is still going to get to the finish line first. After all these decades of enlightenment and consciousness raising, women are still less likely than men to be in the workforce, to be in the race at all. And women, when they get there, are a lot more likely to work part-time. Women tend to work fewer hours than men, and when they take involuntary time off, they are more likely to cite childcare as their reason. In fact, one study shows that women are twice as likely to be responsible for unpaid childcare and elder care than are men. So while women's hourly earnings have risen to 90% of what a man earns on average, our annual earnings are only 75% of what a man earns. One of the deepest and widest potholes slowing women down in their race to income security is the lack of universally accessible, affordable, quality childcare. In spite of changing attitudes, women's experience of paid work continues to be shaped by our caregiving roles. It means our careers are being interrupted. Women are making detours, if you will, while our male counterparts are speeding straight ahead in the race for good jobs. It means we are making lower pension contributions, condemning many women to poverty in later life. Our government is getting to work to fill that pothole. We are investing a record $1 billion over 3 years to lower the cost for parents, increase the number of childcare spaces, and make sure those spaces meet the highest standard of care. Last week, the member from Chilliwack, Kent, made some shocking allegations about our commitment to bring this much-needed relief to working parents and parents who would work if they could afford the childcare. Now, I couldn't quite follow the logic of his argument. He seemed to be suggesting that mothers should stay home to look after their children. That's what he meant when he said in BC, we now have one full-time 24-hour-a-day childcare space for every child in BC. Tell that to the families who are struggling to provide for their infants on one income. Tell that to the families who put their names on multiple waiting lists before their child is even born. That's what he meant when he said the NDP is ignoring the cries of infants leaving their parents who have to go to work. Did he just invoke parental guilt, one of the more insidious forms of sexism? Let's not live in the past. June Cleaver only exists in reruns, and Ward Cleaver salary isn't enough to support a family in their big house today. In fact, in today's economy, Ward is likely to have been replaced by a machine. Today, there is a 40% chance June and Ward would get a divorce, and an 80% chance Wally and Beaver would end up living with June. How would she support them without childcare? Our childcare plan is modern, it's made in BC, it's what the people want, and it's essential to achieving gender equality. Thank you.